everyone. We're gonna jump right into the show today because I'm already running behind, and we're gonna get right into it. So another Norfolk Southern train derailment, says American Military News. We'll jump into that real quick. That just popped up on my screen as I started the show. Their trains are just crashing all over the place. Not looking good for the new Norfolk Southern Train Company. A second Norfolk Southern train derailed in Ohio on Saturday evening, sending about 20 cars off the tracks as fallout continues from the company's toxic derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, just over a month ago. No hazardous materials or passengers were being carried on this train, which derailed around 5 p.m. Saturday near Springfield, the Associated Press reported. Norfolk Southern initially reported 20 cars derailed, but General Manager Craig Barner updated that to 28 on Sunday, the New York Times reported. Coming soon after the East Palestine derailment and a week after another Norfolk Southern mishap in North Carolina, this was also the second Norfolk Southern derailment Clark County has seen in less than a year, according to the Springfield News-Sun. The derailment occurred close to the county fairgrounds. Residents within 1,000 feet of the derailment were initially asked to shelter in place, according to an announcement from the Clark County Combined Health District. The district later announced there was no indication of any injuries or risk to public health at this time, adding that the Ohio EPA confirmed no public water systems or private wells in the area. The scene was inspected by independent teams from Norfolk Southern, the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, and Clark County Hazmat. Residual amounts of non-hazardous materials were identified in 4 tank cars, 2 carrying diesel exhaust fluid and 2 carrying polyamicide water solution, according to the health district. Barner said a hopper car spilled some non-toxic plastic pellets. The Times reported he added that many of the derailed cars were empty box cars, while other cars that did not overturn largely carried mixed freight, steel, and automobiles. The Federal Railroad Administration and National Transportation Safety Board have both announced investigations into the incident, the cause of which remains unclear. The derailment came 2 days before Norfolk Southern unveiled its 6-point safety plan on Monday ahead of a Thursday Senate hearing where CEO Alan Shaw is set to testify in the East Palestine derailment. Well, he has more to talk about now. In that incident, officials deliberately burned chemicals in some of the cars, fearing they would explode, which sent a huge plume of black smoke over the town and ignited ongoing concerns for the health of people and animals in the area. Derailments are the most common type of train accident and occurred in an average of 1,705 times a year between 1990 and 2021. I had no idea there were so many a year, according to federal data. They don't really talk about them much, do they? All right, so on to the regular show here. So you remember last week I talked about a mysterious dust being found in a couple of states, and it was right after the train derailment. So they burned everything, and then some people theorized that what burned was carried across prevailing winds to other states and came down as like an ash. I know in Connecticut, the outer parts of Connecticut, they said they saw some of the dust. There might even been some in New York, but people came out to like ash-like substance on their cars. So this is what the 100% trustworthy government had to say about it. A mysterious dust fell from the sky in multiple states late in February, drawing an uncertain response from officials and baffling local residents who shared photos of cars covered in a fine powder. The dust fell over parts of West Virginia, Northern Virginia, and Maryland the night of Thursday, February 23rd, the Associated Press reported. In a statement the next day, West Virginia's Department of Environmental Protection acknowledged large amounts of dust across multiple counties, but said no obvious sources have been identified at this time. Photos and videos posted to social media, which could not have been identifiably verified, appeared to show vehicles covered in a fine layer of powder. And here's a TikTok video or a TikTok upload here where they're showing dust from multiple locations. Some was picked up on somebody's Ring camera, so they saw it in real time, and others were just finding it on their vehicles and stuff. That's one picture of a guy. It's on the hood of his car. A video shared on social media showed a truck apparently covered in the substance, followed by several other pictures of coated vehicles. Another video appeared to show home security camera footage of the dust flying outside on the night of February 23rd. After samples of the dust were analyzed, the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection announced that material was predominantly pollen in the middle of winter, with trace amounts of mineral matter. So pollen, which looked like ash and had mineral matter in it. The dust stumped some weather and environmental officials when it first appeared, while others suggested it was carried from western states by the wind. Were the weather people stumped? The same weather people who tell us we're going to get a major storm and then like the exact opposite or nothing happens? Those weather people were stumped by it? Wow. I'm really concerned about that. The day after the dust fell, a Virginia meteorologist with the National Weather Service, Chris Strong, said it is uncertain at this point what it was, the Herald Mail reported. He said his local office was contacting his headquarters to get a handle on the source of the dust. Let's get a handle on it, guys. Can't even figure the weather out, but you're going to figure out what this dust is. The same day, Maryland Department of the Environment spokesperson Jay Apperson said his agency believed wind likely carried it from Texas and New Mexico, and that a weather front caused some to settle in Maryland, the Herald Mail reported. Or, more appropriately, it was from burning tons of hazardous chemicals in the Ohio train derailment, and that's some of the ash that you ended up with. But, what do I know? I'm not a weatherman. Officials said the dust likely did not originate from the East Palestine, Ohio train. Yeah, we don't know where it came from, but we can tell you where it didn't come from. That's the Ohio train derailment. We know that for sure, but it definitely blew in from a luau in Hawaii. It came from there, though. Fucking assholes. Like anyone trust the fucking EPA or the government for anything at this point, assuming you did before. A spokesman for the West Virginia Environmental Department told AP that continuous air monitoring had not detected any problems since the derailment on February 3rd. Apperson, the Maryland spokesperson, told the Herald Mail that air monitoring the day after the dust fell showed good air quality. Yes, I'm sure it did. So, in some good news here against the war against Dementia Joe, the Supreme Court is set to, or has already started getting deliberations on Biden's student loan handout. As you know, he wanted to give, millions more dollars away to a bunch of punks who want their gender studies degree paid for, and they want the American taxpayers to pay for it. So they only got video on this, so we got to get rid of a shit commercial, and then we'll see if what if anything they have to say on this. Fucking commercials are retarded. So this is from a couple of days ago, so I don't even know, and they were live at the time. So, right, so the live stream's finished. I got it a couple of days ago. I was going to go over the news thing, the news information on it, but we're going to follow this a little bit more. So the Supreme Court is going to be finding that Dementia Joe has, illegally used. He was using this. It was from 9/11, and it was an emergency, financial help thing for people who have gone through a disaster like 9/11. So he tried to twist it and use it because of the coronavirus to give all of these kids all their tuitions paid. Now, the reality of the whole thing is a lot of these young idiots are his voting base, right? They're young lefty morons, and they think the destruction of America and everyone being trans is a good thing, and he needs these voters, and the Democratic Party needs these voters. That's why you've had Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and the rest of the squad outside of, I think, the steps of the Supreme Court, yelling and running their mouths over how everyone needs to have access to this, and it's an illegal action he's taken, and it's not going to go through. It's going to get shot down by the Supreme Court, and I hope it does, because all the rest of us have to pay our loans back, and you lefty idiots have to pay your loans back too. So if you want that stupid gender studies degree, or your degree in lesbian dance, as Ben Shapiro jokes, then pay for it your damn self. It's not the job of the taxpayers. Okay, so speaking of silly things that are happening, Hershey's, and as the name of this show denotes, Hershey's has come out with basically a trans bar. This disgusting dude right here, who thinks he's a woman, is the head of this thing here. Mark Dice is talking a little bit about it, so let's get into it here for a minute.
I'm just going to click random stuff, and something I'm sure is going to come to me, because that's, what I love about this kit.
Fuck off.
And to celebrate, the Hershey Chocolate Company has put a biological man on the wrapper for Hershey bars and put him in a new television commercial.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the executive director of Wisdom to Action.
Oh, did you catch that? This carbon-based life form is a 2S-LGBTQIA plus advocate, which means two-spirit, which is a bizarre and willful misinterpretation of Native American mythology, where some individuals who are considered to have both male and female energy is now twisted around to mean that there were gender non-binary Native Americans until the white heterosexual
I didn't know that. That's interesting, and of course more mentally ill garbage.
patriarchy European colonizers came and then oppressed them.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the executive director of Wisdom to Action. We can create a world where everyone is able to live in public space as their honest and authentic selves.
Except for people who want to wear a MAGA hat. Those people are systematically assaulted and harassed, so I guess not.
See the woman changing how we see the future.
You are not a woman. To be nice, I might have considered calling you a transgender woman, but we know how that slippery slope ends up. You can't even eat a candy bar anymore in the United States of Sodom and Gomorrah without being inundated by LGBTQ propaganda.
And you'll still be able to taste the rainbow, but for the month of June, Skittles is dropping the rainbow, and it's all in support of the LGBTQ plus community.
So we knew about that too. They had changed the Skittles. So there's the so Hershey's had this new this new promotion where they're making a tranny bar, basically a he/she bar, and it's supposed to be. You notice that freako dude standing with several other biological women, because there's only two biologies, there's only two genders. It's male and female. That's it. There are no others. There are many degrees of mental illness in which you can believe you're something you're not, but there are only two actual biological genders. Well, Hershey has now given into the left-wing insanity and made their tranny bar, which is absolutely disgusting. So if you're a fan of Hershey's, think about trannies while you're eating your tranny bar. The he/she bar, or the he, she's, her bar, whatever the fuck the thing's called. And so absolutely, I don't even buy chocolate. I don't eat candy at all. I've gotten over that since I've gotten older. But my recommendation to everyone is boycott this. Boycott any company that goes left-wing radical in such stupid ways. Show them that this is dumb. It's a failing decision to make, and you're not going to make any money off of it. There are plenty other places to buy chocolate, or if you've got a sweet tooth, and to the best way to boycott these people and fight back against them is with your wallet, because that's how they stay in business. That's how they shove this garbage down your throats. And if they don't have any money, they can't do anything, right? So a very short time later, it was like 24 hours later, Jeremy from the Daily Wire came out with the Jeremy's she, her, nutless bar, and the Jeremy's he, him with nuts. Jeremy's chocolate sells more than 300,000 chocolate bars in just over 36 hours. I know Tim Pool on his podcast, he bought about $2,000 worth when he heard about this on one of his live shows. So, a whole bunch of people buying it up. Jeremy's Chocolate, the new business line founded by Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring in response to a woke stunt by Hershey's, has sold 300,000 non-woke candy bars less than 2 days after it was launched. The chocolate bars, which come in two varieties, were created after Hershey rolled out an International Women's Day marketing campaign, which is just, on the part of Hershey's, it's a slap in the face to every woman. And I don't know why every woman isn't outraged by this. You've got a bunch of dudes pretending to be women, for whether it's some new change in their life, whether it's some sort of mental illness they're going through. They're pretending to be women and trying to be a better woman than a biological woman, right? And pretending like they're right in lockstep with you, shoulder to shoulder. And it's an outrage to all women. And I don't know why. There are some women who are understanding out there. And they're like, yeah, sure, they're a woman too. And it boggles my mind that they think that these freaks can be in the same league with them. It really, like, when are women gonna, like, some have woken up and are fighting back against it, but when are women as a whole gonna fight back against this and say, listen, dude, you're a dude, you're not a girl, you'll never be a girl, stop this nonsense right now, because we also fought for several hundred years to have the right to vote, have the right to be treated as equals in this society, and these dudes are just walking up in a dress and saying, yep, we're part of the game too, this is a thing. And no, it isn't a thing, and they need to be told that and shown that it isn't a thing. So the story continues. It featured a man who identifies as a woman as one of his spokespersons. Boring promptly entered the chocolate business, and in a rebuke of Hershey's, made clear the Daily Wire would not compromise on the definition of womanhood. Fine, I'll do it, Boring tweeted, introducing Jeremy's chocolate. Yes, it's real. We have two kinds, he, him, she, her. One of them has nuts. If you need me to tell you which one, keep buying Hershey's. But if you know what a woman is and love chocolate, go to IHateHershey's.com. So, if you remember, they originally had a deal, or for anyone that's just not sure about it, they had a deal with Harry's Razors at the time. Harry's Razors was a sponsor a while back to the Daily Wire. And Michael Knowles, I think, did a story on trannies or on something. And a couple people just messaged the Harry's online and complained about it. And not even, it was like a made-up account with no picture, and then they were just complaining about it. So, in response to that, Harry's decided to pull their ad completely from the Daily Wire. They didn't do business with the Daily Wire anymore. So the Daily Wire fought back at that point and put I hate Harry's. I hate Harry's Razors. Even put a sign out in front of their business in New York, and then started making their own razors and all that. So now they're doing it with the chocolate in response to this stupid thing, and I think it's a great idea. He's jumping on a situation that's going to end up becoming beneficial, but good for him. It's a great business move, and you're fighting back against the mentally ill left. Take all the business from Hershey's and give it somewhere else. And they're going to make multiple products, so do your homework to find out what it is they manufacture, and make sure you don't buy any of those products. Make sure they're sitting there on those shelves collecting dust, and you're doing business and you're finding your chocolate or your sweets from somewhere else, because this garbage is never going to stop, because the left can't stop as much as it fails. And I've asked myself this too, and I've spoken to other people. I've said, Disney makes a woke movie. It tanks. Somebody else makes a woke movie. There was Bros, the gay rom-com. That tanked too. I think when you broke down the numbers, it was like $2,000 per movie theater. Like almost no one saw it, and the director had a meltdown because everyone's bigoted and they hate gay people and all that. And it's just like, no, I don't want to go to the movie theater to see a gay porn, basically, because that's what they made. No one wants to see that. Go watch it in the privacy of your own home or on Pornhub or something if that's the way you do it. But you don't put it in the movie theaters and then try to shove it down everyone's throats. And people fight back, but they still keep trying anyway. And you ask yourself, why don't they stop? These are failed endeavors right from the beginning. Why do they keep trying? And it's because they've got the money and the backing to keep doing it, one. And two, they can't stop because they have to shove this down everyone's throats. This is a war of attrition. They need to take everything over town by town, state by state. It's a slow crawl, and they cannot stop. That's why you're going to continue. When you think that Hershey's doing this is the stupidest thing that they could have done, and you realize that as a human being with a functioning brain, that they realize this, and they pushed it through anyway. There's no way that the executives higher up the chain had this pitched to them and they went, love it. This is going to sell like hotcakes. Get it out there. Get it going. It's only catering to a very small mentally ill base of the country, or if they're distributing in this, way outside the United States and the world. It's only catering to a very specific base. And that base isn't going to do anything for you. I mean, they spent all their money on their transition, so I don't think they have any more money for chocolate. But I'm glad they're doing this. So the Daily Wire has built a reputation for big responses to woke corporations and institutions. In January 2021, the company signed Gina Carano to produce and star in Terror on the Prairie after she was canceled by Disney. And in March of last year, Boring launched Jeremy's Razors, as I said, in response to Harry's Razors publicly declaring they would pull ads from the Daily Wire in response to a Daily Wire host articulating traditional views on gender. The people asked and we answered, Boring said. Thanks to Jeremy's chocolate, you can stop eating chocolate that hates you. Harry's Razors hates you. Disney hates you. And now Hershey's hates you, as long as the corporations and institutions across America continue to alienate half the country. The Daily Wire will continue building alternatives. Stop giving your money to woke chocolate companies that hate you. Boring previously revealed that more than 100,000 chocolate bars have been sold in the first 12 hours of launch. So kudos to them. I'm glad they're doing this, and I'm glad that they're fighting back against this. Okay. So Biden, they kind of kept this under wraps. Biden has a cancerous tissue removed, White House says. No further treatment is required. So, of course, prior to this, they said he's perfectly healthy. He's going to regular doctor's visits, and there's no issue there. Now it comes out that he had a cancerous tumor and could potentially, as a result of that, have cancer. Biden's doctor revealed in late February afternoon memo that the skin tissue was removed during his health assessment of February 16th and was sent for a biopsy, which revealed it was cancerous. All cancerous tissue was successfully removed, Biden's doctor said, adding no further treatment is required. So trying to suggest that it was removed, he's cancer-free, there is nothing else. So we'll see what other they don't have any. They're not elaborating on anything else. I know the reporters are asking a lot more about this, and
the president supporting DC statehood. That is where we were. That's what we were at the time. Wanted to make sure that we again lifted up where the president has been for the past decades.
The most inept press secretary,
DC,
Karine,
fighting.
and
we actually
the black lesbian who is an absolute moron. So I wish nothing but the worst for Biden. I hope he has cancer. And I hope it eats away at him like him and his corrupt regime are eating away at the United States of America. That's my hope for our dictator-in-chief, Dementia Joe. Okay, so at the end of this week, we got Detransition Awareness Day. I'm going to be happy to cover that on Friday, so we're saving that for Friday's show. And we'll finish with one final thing here from the Daily Wire. Pete Davidson crashes car into the house after speeding through a neighborhood, he reports. Comedian Pete Davidson reportedly crashed a vehicle into a Beverly Hills home over the weekend after speeding through a neighborhood with his girlfriend Chase Sue Wonders. And I'm following the story because I really hate this guy. He's such a fucking loser. Law enforcement says that the accident happened around 11 p.m. on Saturday when he was driving a Mercedes at a high rate of speed in Beverly Hills, according to sources who spoke with TMZ. Something happened, bunny quotes, that caused Davidson to lose control of the vehicle, which led to the car flying over the curb and destroying a fire hydrant before ramming into the side of a house. Photos obtained by the publication suggest that Davidson must have regained enough control of the vehicle to reduce its speed enough that the car did not fully penetrate into the home. So he was either getting a header or he was on drugs. The photos did show that there was considerable damage to the side of the home and the landscaping. The fire hydrant was completely taken out. The report said that neither person in the vehicle had been charged with anything at this point, although that could change. Well, it should. He flew into a fucking house. Law enforcement did not suspect that substances were involved. So another leftist, rich elitist is going to get away scot-free with something that would have put you and me behind bars while we waited to see the judge. Lieutenant Christopher Coulter of the Beverly Hills Police Department confirmed that the accident happened, but did not state who was driving. Earlier this year, comedian Jay Leno was involved in a motorcycle accident weeks after being hospitalized for burns sustained in a garage fire. What the fuck does that have to do with Pete Davidson? Yeah, then they go into talking about Leno. Why, who fucking... And we're not talking about Leno. We're talking about this douchebag Pete Davidson. And it's too bad that he survived without any injuries. I'm kind of sorry to hear that. But there you go. A little bit of a slow news weekend. But if you hate America and you love mental illness, enjoy your tranny bars this week. And if you love this country and you want to fight back against woke corporations, buy from Jeremy's, the new chocolate they've got, or from the Daily Wire, or buy any other company that is not Hershey's or Hershey's related. All right, have a good week, and we're going to see you on Friday to talk about Detransition Awareness Day and many more stories that happen throughout this week. All right, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.